Well, good day. I'm Martin Tyner with the Southwest Wildlife Foundation, and this is one of my very, very dear friends. This is Scout the Golden Eagle. He's one of our wildlife ambassadors and one of my falconry birds. Hey, Scout, how you doing today, kiddo? Yes, you're such a good boy. Yes, you are. Well, anyway, we thought we'd just kind of drop by for a little bit and visit with everybody and answer questions and bring you kind of a little bit up to speed with how the foundation's doing. And so, if you have questions, please feel free to send them to us, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. Scout and I have been a little bit on vacation. I guess I don't know if it's quite a vacation, but because of the pandemic, it's we haven't done a single wildlife educational program for a year now, just because of all the restrictions and trying to stay safe and healthy. So Scout's been a little bit bored about not going and doing shows, and the other wildlife ambassadors as well. But we're getting there. We are, things are coming along. We are looking at starting our programs very possibly in June. I've already got bookings for programs in June and July, and so we hopefully will get going and get all of this pandemic stuff behind us. Huh, Scout, you're such a good boy. Yes, you are.
Can
So,
I
DG, go ahead.
can I ask for if we can get an update on the white-bellied bald eagle?
The white-bellied bald eagle, the status is still the same. It hasn't grown enough feathers to even begin to be able to fly. And so we're still hanging on to that. We also have a juvenile regular bald eagle as well that we're working on at the same time. And so I don't know, to be honest with you, if the white belly will ever get to the point of being releasable. That's always the goal, and so it very well may end up in an educational program if it never grows enough feathers to be able to fly. So that's kind of where we are with the white belly.
Well, we got a question here from Tara Sage. Where's the beautiful Susan?
Where is the beautiful Susan? Susan is at work. Am I froze up?
You were just for a little bit. Now you're okay.
Okay. Yeah, Susan's at work. The Wildlife Rescue and the Wildlife Foundation is not our occupation. It's our life's work. Our occupation is Susan and I own a dog grooming shop. And so she's at the shop running our business and taking care of everybody in Cedar City's dogs and getting them to look pretty and smell nice. And I'm holding down the fort with the animals here at the house.
Okay, we have a question from Fruit Loop Rainbow. Hello from VT. Have you still been hunting with the ambassadors?
The hunting season is pretty much over with, and we had kind of a shortened hunting season this year for the simple fact we had a pandemic come through that's called hemorrhagic rabbit fever and has just devastated the jackrabbit population here in southern Utah. And so what few rabbits are left, we didn't want to hunt them. So all we can do is just hopefully they get through this and start rebuilding populations. So where we usually hunt with the birds from September through February, this year we basically hunted the birds until late November, and when that rabbit fever hit and stopped, because again the rabbits are on such great pressure. I don't want with my wildlife ambassadors to add to that pressure.
Well, we have a comment here from Dark Jerry 92. Scout just wants to play with your glasses again.
Yeah, he's kind of a buddy. He likes to be silly. He's really a whole lot more of a ham when I have an audience, because he right here is just he and I, and he doesn't know that all of you are watching. And yes, you don't know that. But when we have an audience, then he knows that he can embarrass me, and he can be mischievous and silly, and rip buttons off my shirt and steal my glasses and all of that kind of silly stuff, just to make it a little more difficult for me. But without an audience, he's a lot quieter.
Okay, we've got a
Big boy.
question. Forgive me, I can't even try to say your name. I'll just say HGK. We'll do your initials. Comment is Scout is so amazing looking. Are you able to tell what Scout is saying to you when he is chirping to you? I am just curious.
Well, yeah, he's again incredibly intelligent, and he and I have our own little language together. Most of the time, his little chirps right here, he's just talking. He's just saying hi, and that's kind of a sweet, nice sound that he's making, just being very pleasant. He does in the mornings get quite vocal and whistles for me to come out and see him every morning out in his chamber and walk in, and he gets excited and he wants to get a big hug and wants me to spend a little time talking with him and visiting with him every morning. And then he does call for me during the hunting season, especially. He'll get when he hears me anywhere around, and he seems to know. I mean, I can drive up, and where we park the cars is a good 200 or 300 feet away from the chambers, and completely out of sight. But he knows the sound of my car, and he knows that it's me. And so when he hears me come home for any reason, he wants me to come talk to him and see if we're going to go hunting together. And then during the courtship season, he has his own little vocalizations and calls that he does to basically say, it's yes, you want to say it's breeding season, huh? So yeah, he has quite a few little calls that he makes that over the years we've gotten to understand quite well.
And we have a comment from Shonda Warren. She says, I didn't know y'all a dog grooming business. Wow, that's incredibly impressive, I think. I thought that rescue was your job.
Well, no, the rescue that I've been doing for over 50 years, it has been volunteer for 50 years. It's basically it's my life's work. It's not my occupation. We do not receive a nickel of state or federal funding to care for these animals. And so all of the wildlife rescue is funded either through donations from kind people like you, funded through the sale of my book and my wildlife photography, and funded through when I travel and do the educational programs, people make donations to help care for the animals. And so, it's not a paid position. That it's just strictly a love of wildlife and wanting to help them.
Edsel Henry asks, do you normally hunt with Scout?
Do I normally hunt with Scout? We do get Scout out flying every year. Unfortunately, as I said, right now the rabbit population is really bad. Scout needs a very specific location. In order for him to be successful, he's too big and he's too heavy to just fly him off my glove like I do the Bell, the Harris Hawk. And so Scout needs to be put up on a ledge, on a ridge line, where he can soar up on the ridge line and then look out over the desert and watch me as I'm trying to flush rabbits. And so it's not a real efficient way to hunt. He gets his exercise, but where I could take my Harris Hawk out, all things being equal, and my Bell, and we could catch 100 jackrabbits in a year. If we catch 3 or 4 with him, that's been a good year. And so the success ratio working with a bird of this size and strength isn't really nearly as good as a smaller, much more efficient bird of prey.
Well, we've got another question. Where is Susan?
Well, again, Susan's at work. She's we own a dog grooming shop, and that's how we make our living. And so she's at the shop right now, running the shop and basically helping with all of the grooming and keeping the business running. And I'm here at home by my lone self with Scout, taking care of the critters. So, oh yes, you're such a good boy. So we do have 2 very different jobs. The only time that I'm really at the dog grooming shop is I'm kind of the head maintenance guy. So anything that breaks needs to be repaired. Then that's my job, is to fix stuff that my groomers break.
Feather Baby Mom has a comment. Scout would make some really beautiful babies.
I would love to breed Scout. I really would. But currently, by the way the federal laws are written, we're not allowed to breed golden or bald eagles in captivity with the way things are at the moment. And so, he would be an excellent breeder. That's my boy. Yeah, he just saw our window curtains were open. He says, "Well, what's out there?" That's my boy. There you go. So yeah, currently we are not allowed to breed him.
Can you just mention if he could not fly off because he's tethered? What would happen if he was not?
Well, here, especially here in the house, this is extremely dangerous. There are all sorts of obstacles between furniture and lamps and electronics, TVs and that kind of stuff. And he doesn't know what a window is, has no idea. So with that window right there, as far as he's concerned, he could just fly right through it. And so, yeah, he would, this would be a dangerous place for him.
Okay.
And so what I've got here, let me hold it up where you can see. I've got leather on his legs, and they come down. I've got a hold of them, and I've got a clip on one of them. So so if I happen to lose my grip, so that he can't possibly hurt himself here in the house. So we would never want him loose inside of a home.
Okay, our video got a little slow there for a minute. I hope that's going to be okay for people. Sorry about that. So add in another question/comment. This one from Blackberry Bramble. Does Scout seek out female Goldens during breeding season? If so, what keeps him from taking off with a female to raise young?
Well, and that's actually a really good question. Let me kind of explain it to you. The hunting season for falconry is September through February. The courtship season starts in January. And so we do fly him during the courtship season. And if Scout finds a pretty little lady eagle that's cuter than I am, he will fly away and never come back. They do pair bond for life. And so he has that right that if he wants to find a lady friend and leave me, he will do that. But he and I have been together for about 16 years, which is just absolute proof that I'm adorable. And so he keeps me. Yes, you do, huh?
We've got a question from Alex Meyer. It says, my German falconry book says that golden eagles are the most dangerous birds to hunt with because of the strength and their potential aggression. What do you think?
There are certainly one of the most dangerous birds you can work with. Absolutely. I wouldn't say the most dangerous. I would say some of the even larger eagles, the harpy eagle, the Philippine monkey-eating eagle, they are significantly bigger than a golden and can be a whole lot more dangerous. But when you're dealing with an animal like this, that is this large, and those big, beautiful feet that you see right there, 600 pounds per square inch of crushing power of those feet, he could drive those talons through my glove and crush the small bones in my hand. So they are a dangerous animal. You would never, ever want to encourage anyone to fly eagles and falconry unless you have literally decades of experience flying large raptors. And then you also have to live in a location that would be suitable to fly an eagle. I know of a few guys that got golden eagles for falconry that live back east, and there's, it's just silly to get an eagle because there's no place to fly them.
And we have a question from Daniel W. Martin, can you answer my following question? Did you ever get injured from the wildlife? Greetings from Germany, Hamburg.
Have I ever been injured? And hello, Germany, Hamburg. That's wonderful. Yes, I have been injured many times. The most serious injury from an eagle that I've ever received was when I was the curator of birds of prey at Busch Gardens, which is a large bird zoological facility in California. And I had a golden eagle just like Scout here. And the eagle was a friend of mine, and we got along wonderfully together. We had absolutely no issues. And I needed to replace the Jessies, the leather straps around the legs right here. I needed to replace those. And so my eagle was sitting on a perch, and I was bent down, and I was taking the old leather straps off, putting new ones on. And my eagle basically picked up his right foot, held it up like this, and then reached out, grabbed my right hand with his foot, planted all 4 talons through my hand, and then let me go. He was just playing. He wasn't being aggressive or mean or anything else. He was just goofing off. I ended up with 4 holes all the way through my hand. And so I took off my shirt and wrapped my hand up to help control the bleeding, and went to the nurse's station, and the nurse about passed out because I was bleeding everywhere. So I drove myself to the hospital and walked into the emergency room, and the doctor unwrapped my hand in the emergency room, and he looked at my hand and says, you got 4 holes in your hand all the way through. And I says, yeah, I know that. And the worst part of the whole event was that they have these kind of, it's like a Q-tip, but it's a wooden stick that's about 6-8 inches long with some medication on the end of it. And in order to treat the inside of the wound, he would take that stick and push it in and out of the hole in my hands. And after he thoroughly cleaned out, and that was horribly painful, after he thoroughly cleaned out the holes in my hand, he packed the hole full of sulfur drugs and gave me shots of antibiotics and gave me antibiotic pills and sent me on my way. No stitches because it was holes. It wasn't really anything that could be stitched. And so infection set in. There is nothing, and I know it's hard for you to see, but these talons right here, there is nothing in the world more infectious than those talons. Basically the way they feed is they grab and crush, rabbits, and they get their talons through the bowels of the animal, and it's pretty disgusting. So there's a lot of bacteria on those feet. They're very infectious. Anyway, my right arm swelled all the way to my shoulder, and the doctors were talking about having to amputate my right arm for infection under control, and I kept my right arm. But yeah, these can be very, very dangerous animals to work with if you don't know what you're doing.
So we've gotten a few super chats. I want to send out thanks about. I'm sorry if I'm a little delayed on getting them. We see like one stream of comments and we're getting quite a bit of questions. So our first super chat to note here is from Sherry. She sent us $25 donation. And by the way, because we're hooked into YouTube's for nonprofits, we actually get 100% of the donations that are made during super chats. And her comment is, "You are an amazing human, Martin. Thank you for all you do."
Well, thank you, Sherry. Thank you for the donation. It's like you that help allow me to do what I do, to help buy food and supply. Thank you so much.
And another super chat from Positive Sands. Shiba dog shaking his hips saying thank you. That must be like a little sticker and they write out what it is.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. That's so very kind.
And from J. Crowbug, your love and care for wildlife is much appreciated. Thank you for being a loving light in the world.
Well, I appreciate, somebody needs to take care of these critters, and I just have been kind of blessed having the opportunity to do so. But to be honest with you, all there, you've all, in your own ways, you've helped these animals because it's because of you that I've been able to continue doing what I do. And so I'm so grateful to every one of you. None of this would happen.
Again, I'm sorry, we're having a little bit of video issues. Martin's a little blurry right now, and I think it's on either my service or his service, but I apologize. We'll just keep on it, and hopefully he'll clear up again. We have a comment from Stitch Cats. Hello, Scout. How old are you?
Scout is, 16, 17 years old, I believe. And so, yeah, he's definitely a full adult. The average life expectancy of a golden eagle in captivity, if all goes well, is more than 40 years. In the wild, about 20 years is the most you can expect. So in eagle years, he's certainly a very, very mature adult.
And we have a comment from Jane Abrate. Hi from the Midwest. Temperature is almost 30 degrees for the first time in almost 2 weeks.
Well, I'm glad you guys are finally starting to warm up a little bit. You guys have had some miserable weather, but for Scout, 30 degrees, that's summertime. Eagles are have a real problem with heat, but the cold, we've been out, he and I flying together, and it's been 10 below zero, and I'm dying, and Scout's just having a ball. So the cold weather for the Eagles doesn't affect them. It's the hot weather that does.
Well, we've got Alex speaking to Amanda, who's also, he says, "Hi, Amanda. Hope everything is okay in Dallas." So we're kind of interrupting somebody's conversation here, I think.
Oh, that's okay. I hope everything's going better in Dallas. You guys have just really been put through the mill. I see that most of the power's back on, but you guys got to get things put back together. So we're hoping that you guys all settle in and get cared for.
Look, here's another question for Amanda from HGK. I've been interested in this channel considering I have been interested in the birds of prey. So next time we should just have Amanda on the show, I think.
Yeah, Amanda, sure. She's probably a whole lot cuter than I am.
But I don't know about if it's cuter than Scout.
Yeah, I don't think anything's cuter than Scout. Of course, I never thought of Scout as cute. He's kind of majestic and handsome, a beautiful animal.
We've got a question from Jay Nason. Do you take Scout hunting at all, and also do you record that as well?
Oh, yes, we do take Scout hunting. Unfortunately, unlike the Harris hawk, Scout will only hunt with me. Like I said, they can be very, very dangerous. He got offended by a photographer several years ago, and I don't trust him with strangers in the field. And so it's a little hard to video him when it's just he and I. And so most of the time, the window is open, big guy. I'm sorry. Our living room window, he thinks it's open. He wants to go out and look around. Yes, I know, but it's not. Well, so yes, he is a falconry bird.
I'm so bummed when Martin and I were just like he and I on this stream thing. His picture was perfect, and then like as soon as we start to broadcast live, he's all fuzzy now. So we'll keep on keeping on, and I don't know what else I can do. Here's a comment from Laurel. I'm sorry, I guess. Is a raptor like a parrot where they will give you several signals to back off, leave them alone before biting, or will a raptor just bite?
Well, they're very different than a parrot. Parrots are a flock bird, and they have a really quite a complex social hierarchy in flocks of parrots. They're extremely intelligent, just like birds of prey are extremely intelligent. But birds of prey are apex predators. They're pretty much a loner. And so the kinds of behaviors that you'll see in parrots are very different. Scout will hurt you basically without warning. And that's pretty much true with any predatory animal. People think, they want to have a cougar or a lion or a tiger or some other exotic apex predator type of animal. And what they don't realize is these animals have a very strong fight or flight instinct, which basically means if they get frightened or get bothered for some reason, they literally attack first and run. And so, especially if you're in a situation like with I am right here, where I'm actually holding him and he cannot get away from me. If something were to frighten him right now, there would be a strong possibility that I would be injured. And it wouldn't be out of aggression. It wouldn't be out of anger. It would be just an instinct. And so when you're dealing with predators, especially, you have to realize that when you get hurt, it's not because the animal is mad or angry or frustrated, or it's just because it is a wild animal, and you have to respect that.
Okay, we have a question from MD. Thank you both for hosting this with Scout. What is Scout's favorite food? Is his preference common for golden eagles?
I think his really favorite food is jackrabbit. He really loves jackrabbit, but along those lines, squirrels, rats, mice, quail, pigeons, basically a natural diet. We don't feed them food from the grocery store. You cannot go to your local grocery store and pick up dead rats in the frozen food section, as much as I've tried. And you really have to acquire an appropriate food source if you're going to work with animals like this. And so we have a company named Rodent Pro, and Rodent Pro raises rats, mice, and quail, and we order them in by the thousands frozen to feed the animals that we care for. And so if anybody would look at our website, and you can order a Rodent Pro gift certificate for us, and basically then we use those gift certificates, we cash them in every time we order frozen food for the animals.
Okay, a question from Cat and Hat. Is Scout banded? If he flies away, will he get in trouble because he isn't supposed to be free to return to Wyoming?
Well, Scout is banded. I don't think you can see it, but there's a little black. I can bring it up right here. I don't know if you can see that black band that's right there on his leg. He has his federal ID number, which means he's I'm legally allowed to have him because he's registered to me personally. If that's always an issue. Scout was a depredation bird. A farmer up in Wyoming was threatening to shoot him, and I was called in by the federal government to rescue him before he got shot, with the agreement that Scout never, ever returns to Wyoming. And if he returns to Wyoming, to protect him, he stays with me. Now, he does, like I said, fly free, and he does hunt rabbits with he and I. If he found a pretty little lady eagle and bonded to her, he would stay with her, and he would not go back to Wyoming. But if he and I ever got separated for any length of time, and he decided he's going to migrate back to where he learned to fly, which is Wyoming, that would be a big problem. And so far, like I said, he's a dear friend, and we've been together for about 16 years.
How long would it take him to fly from your house to Wyoming?
A couple of days.
And how does he fly? Does he fly like in spurts? And
well, basically what they do is they can go up, ride the currents of warm rising air up to as much as 30,000 feet, and then just basically set their wings and glide at about 100 miles an hour in the direction they want to go. And so, I mean, the reality is where he came from was about 500 miles from here. And so he, if he really wanted to, he could make it in a day, but he would probably take him a couple of days really to get back to Wyoming where he was.
Chico is here, asks, are the females bigger than the males?
Yes, in all birds of prey, the females are a third larger than the males. And so Scout is a large, on average, a male golden eagle averages somewhere between 5 and 9 pounds in weight. A small male would be about 5 pounds. A large male would be about 9 pounds. The females average between 9 and 13 pounds on average. And so if you have a 9-pound golden eagle, you either have a small male or a large male or small female. And it's a little hard to tell. You can tell by their behavior. Scout flies at 8 pounds, so he's definitely a large male, but he's certainly a male.
And we have a super chat from Ashley Lynn, who says, thank you, Martin, DG, and Scout, for another live stream. Thank you for all that you do. Love to all of you.
Oh, well, thank you. Like I said, we're so grateful for you guys, and please forgive me. I can't tell if the picture is blurry or not. I have some problems. I've got my glasses on, but my focal length is so narrow. In fact, I need to go in for cataract surgery, is what I need to do. And I was going to do that this last winter, but because of the pandemic, we haven't. But my computer is at a point where on my bifocals, the distance it's blurry and the close up it's blurry. It doesn't matter. So I just have to rely on you guys to tell me if it's clear or not.
Yeah, it's right now it's okay, but it just has not been as good as it's been in the past. But other than calling me back, I don't know what else we can do. Oh, it just cleared up and we start talking about it. Maybe that's it. Just keep apologizing for it. Oh, nope, went out. Just going back and forth. But I have a dumb question. Like right now, when you're telling a story or you're talking, it's like you're at a presentation, but you're not. You're sitting in your living room. How does Scout comprehend that? Does he think you're just sitting there talking to yourself, or is it the same thing like if you're on the phone, he just doesn't quite understand what's going on?
Well, the truth of the matter is, I spend a great deal of time with Scout doing exactly what we're doing right now. We're just kind of hang out and we talk to each other, and I talk to him, I stroke him, and we just have this kind of amazing friendship that I truly truly cherish. And so, without an audience, um, he thinks it's just he and I, just kind of hanging out together like we do all the time. When there's an audience, that's when he kind of gets to be more of a character, more of a ham, and decides that he wants to be mischievous and make me look bad. Huh? Yes, you're such a good boy.
Hey, we have a question from Cannonball Films. Have any of your rescued animals showed gratitude, or are they more interested in being alone in the wild?
Yeah, no. The truth of the matter is, all of the animals that I rescue, these are wild animals. They're not puppies and kittens. You rescue a dog, and the dog is so grateful. But these are apex predators. These are primarily loners, and so they're very very grateful to get away from me. In fact, the best way I can describe it is with these animals that I rescue, I'm the one that runs across the field and tackles the injured animal. I'm the one that scoops it up with a net. I'm the one that shoves it in an airport kennel, drives it back to the rescue center. I'm the one that inspects the injuries. I'm the one that puts in the IVs, takes out the IVs, stuffs the feeding tubes down their throats. I'm the one that does the physical therapy and puts in the stitches and takes out the stitches. And when the animals are ready to go back to the wild, they hate me. And that's exactly what we want. We want them to hate us. We want them to stay as far away from humans as possible. Now, Scout, on the other hand, as you can see, he's very much a dear friend. And because I've done none of that with Scout. Scout is my personal eagle that I'm federally licensed to have. And so I have been able to use my falconry techniques to develop a relationship with Scout. And so the good thing about that is that, let's face it, when an animal comes into in critical condition, and not all of them survive. And so animal comes in and we've done everything we can, and we can do it, just not, it breaks my heart. And especially eagles, because I'm so fond of eagles. And so lose an eagle, feeling really, really bad. I'm having a really terrible day. I can sit down with Scout just like we are right now, and we can sit down, I can talk, and I can tell him how bad I feel. And I get a sense of understanding and comfort. And maybe it's just me feeling that way, but it really helps that I when I lose an eagle, that I have an eagle to talk to.
Got a question from Sparkling Glitter, who asks, is he able to understand in English? Or what is he able to understand in English?
The truth of the matter is, human language, it doesn't matter if it's English, French, German, Italian, it doesn't matter if it's Swahili, it doesn't really matter what language you speak. There's some very, very basic commands that the window isn't open, big guy. It's just not. You just can't go out there. But and they get accustomed. He knows that when I blow the whistle, if he flies back, lands on my glove, I've got food here for him. And so it has nothing to do with the language, just a signal more than anything else. When a rabbit takes off running, And though I'll be really honest with you, he sees them usually far sooner than I do. But if I happen to see a rabbit and he's looking the other way, the call in falconry is the word ho. And so I can yell out, ho, ho. Yeah, you perk up, you hear that, huh? And that means that the rabbit's up and running, and it draws his attention. But other than that, kind of the conversations we have, it's not really the words. It's the feelings, it's the body language, it's the emotion that we have one for another. And again, this is not a pet. This is a wild animal. I don't want anybody to think that the reason Scout comes back to me is because he loves me. No, the reason Scout comes back to me and the reason he puts up with me is he exploits me. The truth of the matter is this is the hunter, and I'm his dog. And I'm a really good dog, so he keeps me. And if at any point in time that he's not getting out of the relationship what he requires, he will leave. And so it really has nothing to do with the language.
So how forgiving is Scout? If you ever had to act in a way that he didn't like, but you were doing it to protect him or something, how long would it take before you got in good with him again?
One of the problems that we have, especially with eagles, but any intelligent animal of any kind, eagles, I like to compare eagles to wives. An eagle's like a wife in the way that if you offend them, they will never forgive and they will never forget. And so you never offend your eagle. If you have to do something that does offend them just to save the eagle's life, you know, you may go months. In fact, you may go years, and it may never happen that the eagle will ever accept you again. Like I said, tremendously intelligent. It's very, very, very much like I said. I'm the dog, and this is the hunter. It's very, very much like if you have a hunting dog that runs up, knocks you down, and bites you for some reason. The dog thinks it's rescuing you, but you will always, from that moment on, you will always wonder, without understanding what the problem was, and if you can trust the animal ever again. And so we have to maintain that trust. There is never, ever, ever any form of discipline. If Scout reaches out and puts those talons all the way through my hand, that's fine. It's my fault. I put my hand where it didn't belong. Or just like the previous eagle, he was playing. He put 4 holes through my hand, just goofing off. But you can't punish them. I have chosen to bring him into my captivity, and he has the right to leave. And anything he does is right.
Okay, I just had to mute myself because my dogs are going crazy. We have a comment from Cat's Paw here, 30,000 feet, and then also that's Learjet territory. That was back in regards of the eagles flying up as high as 30,000 feet. Quite a few people have asked about that. How do they get that high, and how do they breathe, and don't they get cold and all that?
Well, again, they handle the cold wonderfully. 10, 20 below zero is a nice day for them. Heat is the issue. And so they can certainly handle the cold. When they are up soaring, they use very, very little energy. They don't have to power themselves up to 30,000 feet like an airplane does. They basically ride the currents of warm rising air, and as high as the warm rising air rises, they can rise with it as well. So they have been spotted at altitudes of 30,000 feet. And as far as breathing is concerned, they are so uniquely built. I know it's a little hard for you guys to see, but if you look at his nose, but you'll see there's little holes on each side of his nose. That's his nostrils, and that actually looks like a jet aircraft intake vent. And so the air, as they're flying along, is being rammed right into the nose, and it goes right into the lungs. They're extremely efficient, and they're using virtually no energy whatsoever. They're just gliding at those kinds of altitudes. And so they don't burn energy, they don't burn oxygen. They just kind of cruise along comfortably and quietly at altitudes that we can't hardly even imagine. And yes, that is up where commercial airliners go. and eagles, like I said, have been spotted at those kinds of elevations.
Okay, question from Dark Jerry 92. So would it be better to try and get a male if one was looking to start falconry?
Now, it depends on what kind of bird. If we're talking in falconry, here in the United States, the best bird to start with is the red-tailed hawk, and it depends on if your goal is to hunt jackrabbits or cottontails. If you have primarily cottontails in your area, a male is so much better because the male is a third smaller. If you're going to hunt jackrabbits, the female is so much better because she's so much larger and stronger. And instead of a cottontail weighing 1.5 pounds, you're going to be catching 5-6 pound jackrabbits. And so it depends on what you're looking to do. Now, an eagle, he is so large and so heavy that a jackrabbit is very difficult for him because he's so big, he's not maneuverable enough, and they're very agile. It's hard for him to catch. So my hawk, which weighs about 2 pounds, handles jackrabbits beautifully. It's a female, and so she catches a lot of jackrabbits, far more than he does, because she's significantly more agile and efficient. And so you have to basically figure out what the quarry is, what you want to hunt, and then to acquire the appropriate bird to meet those needs.
Okay, AB asks, hey Martin, is it still emotional for you to rescue or have raptors, or is it normal after all this time?
It is. It's extremely emotional for me, and you have two very diametrically opposed emotions that you have quite frequently. When an animal comes in, anytime you can walk up and pick up a wild animal, that animal is in critical condition. It's dying. And so everything that comes into the rescue center is right on the very, very edge of death. And so when you get an animal in and you do what you need to do, well, like I said, whether it's IVs, whether it's surgery, whether it's feeding tubes, whatever you need to do to help save the animal's life, and it doesn't work. And I find every single year it gets harder. It gets harder for me to deal with the emotions of losing something that you have dedicated your life to, that you truly, truly adore. Even though it's, I say all the wild animals in southern Utah, these are my kids, and I protect them and save them. Even if you've never met it before, still my kid. And so there's a lot of pain, and there's a lot of heartache, and there's a lot of frustration doing this. This is why traditionally most people that get certified as a wildlife rehabilitator, most of them only last about 3-4 years before they emotionally just burn out, because it is so difficult and so emotionally draining. And the other side is that you've got that desperately ill animal, and you've done everything you can, and you get to see the eagle stand on its feet. After 3 or 4 days, it actually standing, and you're going, "Oh my God, maybe." And then you see it another few days down the road. It's actually sitting on a low perch, and you just feel like, okay, we've got a chance here. We're getting there. I know you want to go look at that window, but I should close those curtains. That's what I should do, huh? And then you see the eagle fly to the upper perches of the chambers, and so each of these little tiny steps, you're just going, maybe I can save this one. Maybe this one will live. And then finally the day comes when that beautiful, beautiful animal, you get to stand on the top of a mountain here in southern Utah, take that beautiful eagle out of its transport box, stand on the edge of a cliff, and throw it off a cliff and watch it soar back into the sky. And that, those emotions are as powerful as when you lose one. And so people ask, why do I keep doing this? And I keep doing this because even though I can't save all of them, I can save this one. And so that's why I keep putting up with all the emotion and all the heartache. It's because I can put another one back in the wild where it belongs.
I was thinking recently about, the video, The Bald Eagle That Would Not Quit, which recently topped 3 million views. And you kind of think of that bald eagle recovered. I mean, yeah, bald eagle, but how many bald eagles has that eagle helped recover as well with absolutely no knowledge of it whatsoever? Like this bird is gone flying, forgot about everything, and it's kind of affecting so many more animals getting helped.
Well, there's a couple of things there. First and foremost, every one of these animals gets returned back to the wild has the potential of becoming a breeder, can becoming a mom and dad and raising more. And so, I have no idea how many animals have gone on to long and successful lives and raised lots of babies, and the babies have done well. There's no way to know that. And the other fact is that every time you work with one of these animals, and every time you have a success, and every time you have a failure, you've learned something. And so the cumulative knowledge that has been developed over the last 50 years allows me to kind of go in and assess things and be far more efficient, and knowing that this didn't work, but this does. So let's skip the first 3 or 4. Let's go to something that I know is going to have a chance.
Well, I was thinking as far as that eagle's experience educating so many people by that story being seen.
Oh, absolutely. Every video that we put out, and just like every educational program that I do, every time I give people an up close and personal experience with Scout or the other wildlife ambassadors, basically helps to protect the wildlife. Yes, it does, huh? You're a great ambassador because people love you.
We have a super chat from Amanda Price, the other star of the hour. She says, as always, thanks much, Martin and Susan, for everything you do to help critters. WebGeek, thank you for everything you do to help Martin and Susan's channel, etc. You both rock.
Well, thank you, Amanda. And yeah, we need to have you on the show. Let you run the show. You're the picture there. It's like I said, I can't hardly see, but it does look like you're a whole lot cuter than I am. So.
But that's legit. We could have, if someone really wanted to be a guest and organize a series of questions, we really could do that, because you could just call in and we could work it out. That might be kind of fun to get a whole different perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything that we do here is we're rescuing the critters, but it's reaching out and educating the world. And so the more of you that are involved in what we're doing, the better it is for everyone.
And we have another super chat, this one from Alex Meyer. I try to learn as much as I can about birds by reading. Can you recommend a good book about birds of prey and or owls?
Any of the Birds of Prey of the World books that gives you a lot of statistics and information, which is always a wonderful thing. If you want to learn about birds of prey in general, then it's usually along the lines of books on falconry, and there are several out there. North American Falconry and Hunting Hawks would be a good one. American Hawking would be another good one. That one is a real good one for beginners. You can find it. Let's see, Hawk for the Bush is another good one. There really are quite a few books out there dealing with falconry and giving you an idea of kind of how the birds work within the falconry world, but that also kind of enlightens you as to how the birds work, just period.
Question from Feather Baby Mom: is Scout doing crop drops?
Crop drops. Are we talking about castings? I'm not sure what that is.
I don't know. That's why I asked. What is a crop drop? His mouth opening and closing?
Not too much. He does yawn because he gets, but you know, like I said, I'm not sure what a crop drop is, but there is such a thing called a casting, and this is where they basically everything they eat goes into the crop right here. You see how deep that is, and this pouch right here fills up with food, and then as his gizzard down here empties, then it puts the food down, and as the gizzard packs up with whatever's not digestible, it regurgitates back up and comes out as a pellet that's about this big, and that's fur and bone and undigestible bits of gravel or whatever has been in his, and they throw that up to help scrub out their digestive system, and that's called a casting. Again, I'm not exactly sure if that's what you're asking.
Okay. A Fishes and Loaves Life asks or states, more pets, please. He seems to be saying.
More pets? No, he's actually quite happy and content when it's just he and I, because that's he doesn't like anyone else. Doesn't like Cody. Susan's a little bit too fidgety for him, so he gets a little nervous around Susan. He doesn't like strangers, and so the time that he and I spend just kind of personally together is his favorite time.
So we're coming up on the 12 o'clock hour, and you're fuzzy again. So I guess we might want to wrap it up, but I wonder if we should mention, you didn't wear your shirt, and we didn't talk about the book.
I'm sorry, we didn't. I didn't wear the shirt because we had little technical things going on to get on, and I'm sorry we didn't grab a copy. Is there a copy close by? I don't see a copy close by. Oh, there's the shirts. Wonderful. And of angels. And if you want to learn about who I am and what I do, this is my life story. It's 40 years of wildlife rescue and the wisdom of grandparents. And we just we're redoing the book right now as we speak. We still have some of the original copies left, but when they're gone, then we'll go to a different printing. We have just put the book, revised version of the book on Amazon on ebook, and so you can order the paperback through us. I prefer if you order the paperback to order it through our website. If you order from Amazon, we get very little, but if you order off the website, we get the profits instead of Amazon, and the money goes to feeding the animals. Of course, ebook, you just order that off of Amazon, and it's a whole lot less expensive, and it's a fun read if you like animal stories.
Okay, so shall we sign off?
Unless there's a last question somebody wants.
Let's see. How about from Chris Alley? Hello, why doesn't the government allow you to band rescues? What is the protocol or reasoning behind banding?
Well, the purpose for banding is for the government feels for scientific study. And that's the only reason it's either scientific study or to register the bird of prey that's kept in captivity permanently. And so rescue, they don't consider that as scientifically valid. In fact, the federal government, anything that I write down that we've rescued and released back to the wild, the federal government still sees that as a loss. And so they don't want us banding what they consider dead birds. So I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's been the explanation that's been given to me, that they only want birds banded who are basically birds for scientific research.
Oh.
Like I said, the curtains are open, so I know you're just looking out there. Just say, boy, that looks good out there. Let's go play.
Okay, so you're getting real fuzzy again, and we'll end with the super chat here from LA. It says, thank you as always.
Thank you so much. You guys are incredible. Thank you for putting up with Scout and I. Really, really appreciate it. And we'll try to do a few more of these live chats. And so if anybody has questions about the Raptors, about Falconry, or about the Wildlife Foundation, please let us know. We'll be glad to answer it for you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.